Badass action, massive revelations, and the removal of Rukia's ass. Does the first part of the 1,000-Year Blood War live up to the hype, or does it crash and burn?
Powerful Nerdcast assemble!
Stay dandy, baby. Yes, Bleach fans, that is the question of the day. Does the anime adaptation of the 1,000-Year Blood War live up to the hype? Does it meet all of the expectations? That answer will be delivered right now. It's yes. To say the wait for the final part of the Bleach anime adaptation has been long would be something of an understatement, and my biggest fear is that it was never going to live up to its lofty expectations of being able to improve on the final arc of the series, which, as far as final arcs in a manga go, was kinda messy. Visually speaking, it looked really good. I mean, we had some of the best battles that we've seen from the entire series, and the anime adaptation is doing a great job of that. And I mean, when it comes to the battle sequences, the final arc of the series definitely did a great job, and I think the anime adaptation is doing a great job of showing how crazy these things can really get and overall improving. I would say this is the best that the Bleach anime series has ever looked, and I can definitely recommend this to pretty much all Bleach fans, especially for those who only watch the anime version, as this is going to be the best way to consume this final arc. Like I said, the manga version, the final arc of Bleach, definitely had some problems, and a lot of those do still manage to rear their head in this version of the story. However, just the fact that this has animation, color, voice acting, and actual fucking atmosphere makes it a lot more entertaining. However, even with that, I do have to admit that the final 2 episodes of this part of the anime adaptation, which was effectively a 1-hour special, still had a lot of the issues that the original final arc had, and a lot of that is because of one key word: exposition. There's a lot of information crammed in the final 2 episodes of the series, and unfortunately it didn't really improve too much on that type of storytelling that was done in the manga version, but again, it continues to look so damn good that I'm able to look past some of these weaknesses. I was hoping that things would be spread out just a little bit more in terms of how they are explained, and maybe they would even sort of, expand a little bit more on some of the backstory between Ishin and Masaki, but unfortunately, we're not going to get some cute lovey-dovey story about how these 2 characters met. I mean, we're gonna get that, of course, but mostly we're just going to get a rapid explanation of to how Ichigo actually received his Quincy and Shinigami powers. And again, I think that this was kind of a missed opportunity. I wanted to spend more time with these characters and see their relationship grow, but no, they have a lot of information they gotta get through, and we have a whole nother season of Bleach anime to get to, which is not even going to be coming until the summer. So basically, here it is. Take your notes, do your homework. This is the important details about these final 2 episodes of the series. First off, let's talk about Ichigo's mother, Masaki. She was attacked by the White Hollow in the previous episode, and she's effectively been infected by this thing, to the point where she actually starts to grow a hollow hole in her chest. And when Ishin actually learns about this, he decides to return and try and save her. And lucky for him, he ends up running into some pretty key people like Ryuken, and most importantly, Urahara. During Urahara's experiments, he came up with this crazy, convoluted plan, which was essentially allow Ishin to transform into a human Shinigami hybrid, and through some weird, ridiculous spiritual pressure Reiatsu science, he's able to tie his soul directly to Masaki, and essentially this allows her to live indefinitely. But still, you would think the fact that they're tied together would create some sort of massive weakness, and it would affect him in some sort of way, but nah, just sweep that stuff under the rug. It doesn't really matter. And bada bing, bada boom, that's basically it. I mean, yes, it's expanded a little bit more when you actually watch in the anime version, but I feel like this is the type of material they could have spread into at least a whole nother episode of just showing a little bit more of their family life, something that I really wanted to see a little bit more of. It also does feature what I think is one of my biggest issues with the final arc of the series, and something that I was hoping that they maybe would have fixed or even made a change to, because even when I was reading it in the manga version, I didn't really care for it, because not only do we get the backstory of Masaki and how she met Ishin and how they started started a family, but we also get to learn the true meaning behind her death, something that was always sort of like one of the stepping stones for Ichigo in the series, because before, her death was implied to be from a hollow by the name of Grand Fisher. And while that event still does take place, it's now supplemented with some brand new material all about Yhwach, who has created some sort of crazy plan which involves him taking all of the Quincy powers from those to sort of like revive himself in this 9-year period. And it just so happens that this happens to fall on the same day as Grand Fisher killing Misaki, not really killing her. It's a little strange, it's a little convoluted, and I don't feel that it needed to be added at all. It completely changes the entire dynamic of her death and only done so to suit the story that's currently going on, and I don't know, I just don't like this retcon, that's just me. However, this is all a segue to the next part of the episode, which, yes, get out your notes, there's even more information. This is when we get to learn a little bit more about Ichigo's true powers and what they actually are, especially when he gets his brand new reforged Zanpakuto, which basically is just his old one with a brand new look, but it comes with a massive twist. For anime-only viewers, they're probably going to notice that Yhwach, the leader of the Vondenreich, looks very similar to a character that we've seen before, and that just so happens to be Ichigo's Zanpakuto, Zangetsu, the old man which lives within his mind. And we get to learn that in a massive twist that this entire time, throughout the course of the entire Bleach series, whenever Ichigo has been using his powers, they actually haven't been coming from the old man Zangetsu, they've actually been coming from his hollow form. That is actually the true manifestation of his Zanpakuto, and it just so happens that there's a reason why Zangetsu, the old one, looks a lot like Yhwach, and that's because he is the true manifestation of his Quincy powers.
What the hell does that mean?
And in an even bigger twist, it looks like this entire time he's been trying to suppress all of his Shinigami powers, all in an effort to try and save his life. And to top it all off, if Ichigo ever became too strong, this manifestation of his Quincy powers was quite literally going to kill him. However, those plans have changed, and he has decided to embrace Ichigo for who he is. And vice versa, Ichigo has also been able to embrace his very own powers as well, not just the hollow form, but also Old Man Zangetsu. And when he finally does get his brand new Zanpakuto for the very first time, which I have to admit in the anime version, this entire scene looked really explosive and awesome. Definitely one of the best looking scenes of the episode. We get to see his brand new Zanpakuto for the first time, which actually takes the form of 2 blades at once, both of which are representations of his powers. His Quincy powers and his hollow Zanpakuto powers.
What the hell?
Look, you just have to accept that Ichigo is a unicorn character. He's perfect, he's amazing, he's got all of the main powers that you would want from this franchise, and now that he's finally got them all together at once, it's pretty freaking cool. I've been really waiting for the big reveal of this weapon, and admittedly, it does look really cool that he does happen to have 2 very distinctive blades. The rest of the material in these episodes is essentially a build-up to the next part of the series, which is going to be the big rematch between the Shinigami and the Quincy. As all of the Shinigami are going through various training sessions, we get to see the return of a lot of fan-favorite characters. One in particular that got me excited the most, and that has got to be one of the biggest shocking surprises, is Komamura, because the dude's essentially a wolf man. There's something really interesting about his character, and that's going to be revealed a lot in the next part of the series. But we get to see that he actually communicates with this giant elder wolf-like god, which is going to allow him to attain some brand new power. We even get to see the return of everybody's Super Sentai, Kamen Rider-inspired Vizard characters going through some trainings with Hisagi Shuhei, a character who looks really cool and doesn't really have much of a personality. Kuratsuchi's doing some crazy mad scientist shit, Soifon is training, everybody is getting ready for the next major battle of the series, and that's pretty much where the season comes to a conclusion. Of course, there is the final stinger, of course, getting to see that Oryu is now being introduced to the leader of the Quincy himself. Is he going to defect and join the villainous side? Probably not. I'm not here to analyze these episodes too much. It's almost a straight adaptation of the manga version, just done with animation, and in that sense, it immediately makes it a little bit better. Of course, some scenes are cut, and most of those are fan service based, but that doesn't really matter all that much. It doesn't take away from the overall story itself, but what I will say is that these episodes right here were very heavy on the exposition. Lots of explanation, lots of cryptic stuff, some of which you're just going to have to accept. I really felt that this was sort of a missed opportunity, though, in some ways to build upon, like I said, the relationship between Isshin and Masaki, not to mention doing something a little bit more with Ichigo, who, for the most part, continues to just asks questions and wonder what's going on, and then just accepts the fact that he has some really cool powers. I love Ichigo. I think he's a really cool main character, but he also does have some flaws, and I think this would have been an opportunity to expand on those just a little bit more. If anything, just to add and inject a little more personality into everybody's favorite orange-haired Shinigami. What I can say is that the first part of the 1,000-Year Blood War did prove that Bleach still has some legs. It has the ability to create some excitement, and it also has the ability to look pretty damn good while it's doing it. That's the biggest praise that I can give to the 1,000-Year Blood War, is just how consistently great it actually looks. A lot of that is mostly owed to the atmosphere and the use of color, but still, I think some of the action in this series is the best that we've actually seen from the entire franchise, and it's only got me hyped to see what's going to happen next, because this was just an appetizer. Shit's gonna go off the rail in the next couple arcs of the series, and I can't wait to see how it's gonna wrap up. I am a little disappointed that we are gonna have to wait what is effectively another 6 to 7 months before we even get the next part of the series, and it leads me to believe that they're gonna really take their time in trying to make this look as good as possible, and in that sense, I applaud them. That's something that I am looking forward to seeing. If they can consistently manage to make it look this good, then you can bet your ass that I'm definitely going to be along for the ride. My final thought is that if you are going to consume the final arc of Bleach, I think that this is probably going to be the best way to do it. If you've been waiting and haven't read the manga, just wait for the anime version. I think it's just ultimately going to be more entertaining, and it's going to leave a little bit more on an impact. But we'll just have to wait and see. My biggest advice, though, is when it all is over, go ahead and read the manga version. Do a little compare and a little contrast, and see which one really works for you. I would like to ask all of you, though, if you did watch the very first part of the 1,000-Year Blood War, I'd love to get all of your thoughts about it. How you think they're handling this adaptation, some of the changes that they've been making, have there been improvements, are there things that are annoying you? What did you think of the action scenes, and what are you hoping to see from the future of the series? As there is still the potential that even after all of this is done, we might see more Bleach in the future. We've already seen hints to that in the manga version with a brand new arc which sort of started and never really went anywhere, but we're gonna have to wait and see. For all we know, they might be just testing the waters to see if Bleach still has that holding power. There's a reason why it was known as one of the big three back in the day, and why it left such a lasting impact, and we're gonna see if it still has the ability to do that now. But that remains to be seen. What I will say is, I do give this a recommendation for Bleach fans, and like I said, I'd love to hear your thoughts about it in the comment section below. So there it is, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you all next time, and as always, stay dandy, baby.